Hello everybody and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4 Old World Blues, my Enclave playthrough. And here we are, episode 20. Sheesh.
Enclave here.
First time for everything, huh? I'm just gonna randomly decide to
Enclave
line up in some countries. Because at this point, with the amount of soldiers I have, it's just, I have more than enough room to do it. Delete it, and then they'll all go back to Vegas.
Enclave here.
Some slight issues.
This is Enclave Maincom.
But
Enclave here.
Too major.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Ooh, got a new operative. They should get me a fairly good information network within the Sisters of Steel. Placed them in pretty much every major city as far as I can tell. Might have missed Riverton, Casper, and Rapid City. Ulysses falls ill. That's not good. He pushed himself too far. What heroics. No, wait, where's he going?
Maincom.
You had it. You had it right there. Literally the capital. Alright, hold on. Is the war screen fixed? It is. Wonderful. Eastern Legion is 77% towards capitulation. It controls 37% and will capitulate when it has 20 or less. Iron Alliance is 37% towards capitulation. It controls 76% of victory points and it will capitulate when it has 35 or less.
Yeah, you can say that again. Yeah, you can say that again. Enclave here.
Me crushing this stuff in the north should do it,
that's a no one. Enclave here.
And then they'll re-go over here and I can expand the line.
Enclave here. This is Enclave Maincom.
Also do here. Once we kill off this stuff, it should be fine. Seriously?
Enclave here.
Sterling again? Ugh. It's just gonna be a back and forth. I take this city. Oh no, they took it back for a while. Yeah, I still don't understand how these are outdated. I'm not switching either because it's dumb. Suppressive firepower. Wonderful. What to do, what to do, what to do. I suppose alloy smelting. Make my ships even, what's the word I'm looking for? Even stronger. Yes, that's it. Sure. Actually, let's get logistical. Why not? So we got expeditionary forces from our troops. There's that dealt with. So our troops should move back to the front lines. So that's working well.
Enclave here. Enclave here. That's a no one. This is Enclave Maincom.
Probably
this is Enclave Maincom.
Minor supplements.
Yeah, you can say that again.
I say minor, but there's still like half a dozen divisions or something.
This is Enclave Maincom.
Oh, I mean you're 4 tank divisions, so I suppose
this is Enclave Maincom. This is Enclave Maincom.
I think if we take Plains Runner, we should have it. Miners, okay, the Iron Alliance is not a miner, and they've recovered territory, so...
This is Enclave Maincom.
The Navarro Underground, awesome. We're getting farther into restoring Navarro back to where it should be. Where's Navarro again? Not that way. This way? No, that's NORAD. This is Area 51. We could just... No. Sure, we'll do this. Alright, the Navarro Underground. On the surface, Navarro was simply a vertibird refueling station. Underneath, it was a vast complex of scientific labs, armories, and repair shops that were the envy of anything in the Wasteland, made all the more impressive by the fact that it was secured by an advanced series of teleporters. However, during the siege of Navarro, we were forced to sabotage the network to keep the NCR Brotherhood out. Seems the Brotherhood fixed a few things, but utterly destroyed it when relations with the NCR went south. Technicians have stated that the network is beyond repair since access to the main power system as well as the other teleporter pads are near impossible to get to assess their damage. Thankfully, we have access to the schematics thanks to a few enterprising individuals who took them when we fled all those years ago. Not so thankfully, that means we had to do it the hard way. It's not too bad. It's more difficult in the fact we don't have... All our troops are so spread out.
Enclave here.
Now I want you to go here.
That's a no one. Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here.
I hate having to do this, but it's whatever.
This is Enclave main comm.
Maybe I'll just get you guys.
Enclave here.
I want you to get across to...
This is Enclave main comm.
Over here. And then...
Enclave here.
I'll get those guys to attack. I'm gonna send these guys back up north afterwards.
Enclave here.
Okay. I'm noticing there are
Enclave here.
with no army border. So I'm gonna give them a border. Anyone else? Relatively speaking, down here.
Enclave here.
Yeah, these guys got
Enclave here.
vaporized pretty much immediately. I say vaporized in the loose sense. Technically speaking, they weren't vaporized, but I mean, technically, I think they were because of the weapons we use, but that's besides the point.
Enclave here.
How long is it going to be taking us?
Enclave here.
Awesome, cool.
Enclave here.
Don't care.
This is Enclave main comm.
New old enemy. Shocking news. A pamphlet has been circulating out for the past few weeks detailing the Mariposa FEB experiments, the same ones that caused Roger Maxim to defect. When law enforcement confiscated as many pamphlets as they could find, they noticed something strange about these pamphlets. While initially dismissed as Brotherhood propaganda, on closer examination, those pamphlets lacked the distinctive features of the Brotherhood, such as the sword and gears and text praising Roger Maxim as if he were some kind of god. Instead, there is a symbol we have not seen before in the initials QB. President Granite was most concerned about this development and tasked Colonel Callahan with investigating who or what exactly this mysterious QB is. Today, Colonel Callahan entered the president's office
This is Enclave main comm.
with a grim look on his face and with a folder in hand. On the cover of the folder were in capital letters and bright red ink the words Querbe Vierum. Let me read it.
Enclave here.
Where's their capital? McCook, you say.
Enclave here.
So, irritating. And I think those are the negative effects of not telling the truth. As a intelligence report, okay. Calm down. New Vegas. Good evening, New Vegas. This is Mr. New Vegas, announcing that the king has defeated Mr. House in the city's first free election since, wait, is this right? 2075? Mr. House's late-game efforts to get out the Securitron vote appear to have been stopped due to some curious influence, as the elections were conducted with minimal violence. The king was seen flipping a gambling chip outside the Lucky 38 and announced that Vegas would be a place where everyone would be a king, and that his gang, the Kings, will be cleaning the place up both in Freeside and Westside. Mayor King has dedicated he will move for greater ties to the United States of America, and on that note, folks, it's time to play a little less conservation, one of the more recent pre-war songs to be salvaged from the wastes. If you like news, then you're going to love our new next segment. United States annexes Vegas, and we remove the House always wins. Awesome. A discovery of yes! A discovery of presidential proportions. President granted. Astounding news. Air Force One. We found it! In the ruins of Denver International Airport. Scavenger teams reported of a particular airliner with an absurd amount of automated defense systems covering it. When our troops approached, a few recognized the blue and white paint job, as well as the markings in the interior of the plane. It's worse for wear, but intact, and a few of our engineers on site believe that we can easily get the airliner flying again. That is, of course, if you want to. I shall soar on the wings of liberty. A jewel in our crown. Under our governance, the United States has prospered. We've built towns, roads, communities, and dreams. One of our advisors noticed today while walking through shady sands that it has become a beacon in the wasteland. But still, it isn't perfect. Though flawed, the imperfections give character to this jewel on our nation's crown. So we get a whole bunch of stuff from that. Intelligence report Querve Virum. Context: the historical Querve Virum was a pre-war group of conspiracy theorists, anarchists, and various dissidents. They were responsible for the theft of a prototype plasma pistol and were dangerously close to uncovering the existence of the pre-Great War Enclave. It is not known if the current QV has any connection to the historical QV. Structure: there is no clear leader. The organization consists of an unknown number of decentralized independent cells. Membership within the cells range from 1 to 30 individuals. Recruitment of new members is conducted by word of mouth. The only thing holding the organization together is the ideology that the Enclave, and by extension the United States, must be abolished by force. Threat: the ability of QV to conduct complex multi-cell operations are hampered by lack of clear leadership and inter-cell coordination. Hence, the threat of them overthrowing the government is negligible. However, single-cell operations are highly likely. Their operations focus on attempts to uncover past Enclave activities, counter Enclave propaganda, and investigate alien presence. Outlook: QV's decentralized independent cell structure makes them very resilient even if it hampers their offensive potential. Hence, operations against a single cell are unlikely to lead to other cells being uncovered. We estimate that it will take us 50 years to root out QV under ideal conditions. Report by Colonel Callahan. For Enclave present only. Thank you, Callahan. As I recall from previous playthroughs, Callahan is actually
Yeah, you can say that again.
incredibly involved with this, as I recall.
Enclave main com.
I think,
Enclave
don't
here.
quote me on this, I think that he is
This
the
is
main
Enclave
leader.
main com.
Jasper Labs, awesome. Let me just do a few things. Logistics. And what were you doing? You were getting me tougher ships. Better play. Jasper was a brilliant experiment using a two-stage and high-energy shotgun to achieve shock pressures, temperatures, and strain rates similar to those attained in a nuclear weapon. The tests continued well into the 2060s before shutdown to allocate funding to the war effort. It was these tests that allowed Vault-Tec to create the vaults and to ensure the rig was capable of surviving a nuclear explosion. These tests ensured America's survival, something their scientists and engineers probably didn't think about. However, our scientists and engineers have noticed that the last series of tests use mass driver technology, which they can miniaturize given enough time, allowing us to hopefully in the future recreate our last Gauss rifles. So, will anything come of this? Increase research speed by 5%. Farson Project. South Pass Mine must be controlled by the United States. Let's decide who's going to control the base.
Here.
But yeah, as I recall, Colonel Callahan in himself is who's responsible for the QB group.
Enclave
Eastern
here.
Legion is gone. That's them done. Meaning, all of our troops are about to be reorganized to the north. I kind of feel bad. Except, no, I don't. I'm just gonna give one army a go order. Because at this point, we really don't need anyone else. It just needs one army. Doctor's homemade bag. That doesn't make any sense of how it's super effective, but okay, we're just gonna go with it. The name Navarro. As we continue to build and expand on Navarro, a certain disagreement has cropped up amongst the branches that is causing such contention among the officers' ranks leading the construction it threatens to delay everything. The central issue is who's going to take lead on the base, who will be the primary garrison, and who will make the base's name reflect. While all are in agreement to keep the name Navarro, the Army wants to call it a fort, the Navy a base, and the Air Force and Marines have chimed in as well, thankfully. Work is continuing on schedule for the time being, but it's only a matter of time before the officers start playing politics and screwing each other over to try and gain a lead. For Granite, who normally was above such matters being he was the President of the United States, saw Navarro's importance in American history as too significant. He was not going to let a petty squabble over naming conventions ruin its reconstruction. During one heated debate among the officers that was meant to settle the matter, Granite walked in on the meeting, much to the alarm of every officer in the room, though since they were all at attention, the room was silent. Granite looked them over and spoke calmly on his decision. It's fine as it is. Navarro will stay Navarro. It doesn't make sense otherwise. I'm sure you would get different bonuses deciding, like, depending on which one you picked. I'm 100% sure of that, but I just don't really care, to be honest. Where was I? Oh, yes. More Navarro stuff. Wow, that's pretty good. Holy. That is really good. We're going to do Area 25 so we can get Area 6 done. Fly Cassidy caravans litter across the wasteland of Southern California and Arizona lay the remains of the Legion's airship Air Force. The Titanic air war has left the lands littered with the remains of the Crimson airships that terrorized American troops on the ground and battled with the Air Force for control of the skies. The result has been a windfall for scavengers and scrappers as they pick through the remains of the Great Air Battle. For one service, though, it isn't just opportunity, but a whole new beginning. Hoping to soar above the competition, as an enterprising woman by the name of Rose of Sharon Cassidy has managed to scrap together several crashed Legion airships and restyled them as America's first air caravan. Operating out of what used to be Camp McCarran, which she staked claim to after the fall of the NCR. Renamed to McCarran Aerodrome, Cassidy Caravans is offering not only flights to areas, but faster and safer cargo flights to the far reaches of the United States for affordable prices. When asked about where she acquired the gold to pay for the McCarran claim, Rose of Sharon Cassidy said she acquired it from a friend who decided not to let go so she could begin again. Okay, didn't see that coming. Airship air travel. Awesome. So this should be fairly easy.
Enclave here.
Just gonna order all of you.
That's a no one.
Attack. Yep, that's fine. Okay. I'm gonna take everything. I can claim a navy? How does the Eastern Legion have a navy? You know what? On second thought, I'm not gonna question that. I'm just gonna take what I have and I'm just gonna end the peace deal. That's it. We did it. The Eastern Legion is gone. I'm gonna research more guns, because guns seem interesting. More naval guns, specifically. I don't know what to do now. That was it. That was all that needed to be done. After this, it's just easy street. To be honest.
This is Enclave main comm.
There's pretty much no one who can stop us.
Enclave here.
That's for sure.
Enclave here.
I mean, I'll go ahead and just put some front lines on certain borders with other nations, I guess.
Enclave here.
Just to really have somewhere to put my divisions. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
This is Enclave Maincom.
We've won. And I know that is, technically by all rights me saying
Enclave
that
here.
Jinxing it, I suppose you would say.
Enclave here.
But I think we've done it. That was it.
Enclave here.
I don't think at this point that any faction,
This is Enclave
that
Maincom.
being literally just the Sisters of Steel, because they're the only faction left
Enclave here.
outside of, well, Pan America.
Enclave here.
It's just, there's no one left. There's no one left to stop
This is
us.
Enclave
We
Maincom.
win.
This is Enclave Maincom.
There's nothing left for them to be able to fight us for.
Enclave here.
The Legion's gone. It's over. And there are a surprising lack of crystals.
Enclave here.
So difficult. I don't know where to put any of these. I have so many
This
divisions
is Enclave Maincom.
that, like, I legit don't know where to put some of them.
Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here.
Well, that's it. That's all our generals. I'm gonna have them reassign. Economic resurgence. Awesome. Okay. We're gonna do the next turbine. Send out more scavengers. Why not? We're gonna work on restoring a new place. Want to activate all power grids, and we're gonna click all of this. I saw an E in there. Huh. Oh, and with that, I am out of political power. Oh, we have Vault 22 now. I didn't realize. We're also going to restart that. So we're going to add a whole bunch of people. I don't want to do that one yet. Impact Zone. The Air Force has been eager to get Nellis Air Force Base up and running ever since we returned to the area. The convoy heading towards the base, however, was stopped by a fellow named George who said that the boomers, the ones who occupy the base, would fire their artillery and heavy ordnance at anyone on site, and that our convoy would be outright destroyed. Erring on the side of caution, the convoy commander sent a few dismounts forward, and those dismounts came running back after a series of artillery strikes impacted outside the base. They were lucky to escape with their lives. We're at a bit of an impasse now, as the Air Force with Army reinforcements can't close on the base without fear of being shelled. Scouts moving at night report that the base is mostly intact and the Air Force doesn't want to destroy something that is still standing. However, those boomers occupying the base are packing some heavy weapons, with everything from grenade launchers, rocket launchers, and even a few M42s. See if you can't infiltrate the base. We're gonna give our team 72 hours. Oh, and now that I'm thinking about it, I should rescue my operatives. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. But now becomes the easily hardest part. I gotta core all of this stuff. I mean, I gotta build bases on all of this stuff. And I have to go through all of this stuff and click everything. And if I zoom in, you'll see this. It's a problem. Because I don't 100% know, like, some areas I genuinely how hard to be seen because of how small they are. And some areas are just completely and utterly occupied at this point. Well, time for all of that to be activated. Holy mother of repair. Send in the Sigma. From their overlook north of the base, sniper teams trained their sights on the guards that watched the perimeter of Nellis. They were instructed to hold fire as it was hoped that the base could be taken without firing a shot. Off to the south, a separate team moved rapidly, aware of a nest of deathclaws that was seen in the area. However, the beasts were known to be asleep at this hour as the team moved closer. Reaching the old rail gate, the lead engineer cut through the lock and the team moved in. Activating their stealth boys, they approached their targets and with skill subdued each one before an alarm could be raised. The only threat came when the boomer Master Arms Reiko tried to grab the radio to alert the others, but the radio was shot out of their hands by snipers. The rest of the boomers awoke in the morning to the sound of vertibirds landing and the stars and stripes flying over the control tower for the first time in centuries. Mother Pearl awoke to see Requeel and 3 Sigma troopers and the officer in charge, with the officer formally requesting her surrender. As if she had much of a choice. Yeah, and there goes Nellis. I could probably convert, if I had to take a guess. If not most, I'd say we need radios? Why do we need radios? I think I could convert a decent amount of my regular infantry over to power armor divisions. Or I think I could anyway. However, I'm going to add portable radios because for some reason I need that. If one of you guys can tell me in the comments below why I suddenly need those, I would appreciate it because I'm not certain myself. It'll be fine. Doesn't really matter much. The Air Force moved in after the Sigma secured the place. The remaining boomers were in shock at how easily their defenses fell. The Khans, NCR, and even House fell, but of course none of them were the Enclave. A few resisted, but as Air Force engineers arrived to begin scoping out the base for restoration, it was discovered that the boomers were actually quite willing to help out with the restoration. After some more negotiation and talks, it was discovered that they were descendant from the vaults and were enamored by the pre-war Air Force. It explains the reused vault uniforms they all wear. The Air Force is evaluating whether to let them in or not, though the boomers do apparently have access to pre-war VR pods. There was also the matter of a series of giant ants infesting the ammo bunker, which Sigma and even the former boomer security guards are currently drawing up plans to handle. Good to hear. That's awesome. This is going off without a hitch for the most part. I'm just waiting for the bad parts of, oh wow, this thing is suddenly happening to be an issue. They're probably traveling sky high. Air Force One, hold on. I completed a research thing that seemed interesting. Logistics. Some more. Traveling sky high. Scavenger, reporters, soldiers, and onlookers alike flocked to the ruins of Denver International Airport today to see the historic moment when the president's own plane, Air Force One, took off on its maiden flight towards the United States Capitol for future use by the president himself. The restoration undertaken has been tireless and heavily automated, with assistance from local scavengers who were eager to reap the rewards of working on the president's aircraft. While the president himself isn't on board the airliner, it was still designated Air Force One for its return trip to the West. The roar of the engines filled the still Colorado air as the pilot's message was broadcasted across the airport via loudspeaker. Air Force One preparing to taxi. Ah, that's awesome. I probably moved pretty much all of my Air Force north as far as I'm concerned. Problem is that some of these guys are still not air superiority. That, and I don't know if Yeah, not all of them are switched over to jet fighters yet. Some of them are still monoplanes, which I'm just gonna let them do that. I'll transfer them to the front. I should probably just disband a whole bunch of armies, but suppressive firepower. So I can do two things. I can go farther in my tree now, and I can do Area 6. Pre-war, the military began conducting research into what exactly a post-nuclear environment would essentially be. Centered around Area 25, this facility ran a series of underground tests that replicated real-world environments and then doused them in radiation to discover the results. While seemingly destructive and fruitless tests, the Great War proved the naysayers wrong. The data recovered from the site has allowed us to put their recommendations into practice, allowing our troops to better operate in the very scarred environments we found ourselves in. Reduces terrain penalty speed by 10%. Wait, how did they predict Mirelurks? Oh, right, I remember that part. Cool. Power up. We're gonna install police forces. That should allow us, I think, to make more civilian power grids. It does. Wonderful. On all the places, mind you, that can be cored at this point in time. Or that places can be built to allow for coring at this time. I'm noticing a whole bunch of spots suddenly just appeared. Which is, don't get me wrong, it's good. But also slightly irritating. So I have to go in and find all those spots. Also noticing the infrastructure around the country is not great, so might need to work on that. Not that it'll really matter. Things are coming to an end, I'm afraid. Oh yes, there is one thing I want to do with government before I forget. Whispers of Hope, cool. Caravan ambush, we can at least try. We found something. When the Enclave first set out to reclaim America, we used the Advanced Power Armor Mark I, the most advanced system at the time. However, the designs for it were thought lost when the rig went down. We've been forced to use the XO1 prototype Advanced Power Armor. While some of our officers and elites continue to wear the MK1 models, repair proved hard and replacement impossible. That all ends today. Our network excavation teams managed to restore much of Navarro's old data network after it was locked and seemingly purged when the Brotherhood tried to data mine it for technology. While much of what was recovered were old report logs, we discovered the partial schematics for the Advanced Power Armor Mark II. Or, no, that's Mark I. That just has an exclamation mark next to it. Our engineers can work with this data and completely recreate what we once had. It will take some time, but soon we will have the best power armor on this side of the Forbidden Zone. Just don't let Sergeant Doran catch you out of it. Add technology, advanced power armor schematics. I'm trying to find where this person is. Is it down here? Down here. I don't think I really need the stability at this point. So, I think it was Director Colas that it needs for this focus. Yeah, Director Colas. So, Director Colas we shall get. Where is he? Ah, here he is. So we should be able to get that now. And if we go to technology, we go to infantry, and we go to power armor. Yes, we can. We can research the advanced power armor. Yes. Oh. Hold on. I think it's about time we get the urban plasma rifle and the APA Mark II. Oh, I guess it was the Mark II. Fund the EPA. I want the EPA back. We need to preserve what remains of our nature and preserve the planet for future generations. Plus, we'll gain popular support doing so. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, Diamond in the Rough. Vault 22. 2 more bases to restore. Awesome. Local actions, no. No. Okay, so those are still being done. That's being done. Since our return to the Mojave, we've heard the rumors of Vault 22, in particular the notes of a Thomas Hildren of the NCR Office of Science and Industry. He spoke about a vault of green plant life and what could be an agricultural boon if its secrets could be unlocked. While we know the secrets of Vault 22, it was actually one of our more benign experiments and should have been a roaring success. Of course, Vault Tech had to screw it up. For all the horrors of the Vault program, this one was unexpected when an experiment on a pest control fungus caused it to jump from insects to humans. The entire vault was infected within weeks, I assume it's supposed to say, with only a few escaping into the Wasteland. Corpses were reanimated, and the entire vault was written off as a loss with no data as we watched zombie-like spore carriers begin infesting the vault. Still, we could send in a team of scientists with an escort. Perhaps we could recover some data there. Unlike the NCR, OCI, and Vault Tech, our labs are the best in the Wasteland and are more than capable of handling the horrors of the vault. Dispatch a team armed with flamers. We're sending them in. No. Yes. Turn them on. More bases. No. Hoover Dam. Okay. Should be fine. Alright, now it just focuses, pretty much. Whispers of Hope. There's a lot of that. The Green Mile. How long has this recording been going on for? Huh. A lot less time than I thought it was. Demolition teams moved in, covered above by modified birds armed with flamethrowers. The troops burned their way into the canyon, encountering a variety of hostile flora and fauna before reaching the entrance to the vault. Burning their way in further, the officer in charge discovered that their filters were being filled up at a rapid rate. Having been briefed on the spores in the vault, and ordered the team to fall back. A medical check found they were uninfected, but regardless, it was a good call. The demo team is requesting additional filters before heading back in. Our science team is also stocking additional filters on their suits. Keep me posted. Portable radios, mechanized artillery, and Berbers. Big shackle bubble. Yikes. The new EPA. Hold on. The GEC project. Okay, and then more technology. Awesome. The new EPA. For the longest time, Collis and the EPA have been shoved to the side as tree huggers for more military-focused operations. It did not help that Collis' former rank before becoming director was a lieutenant in the army, but that was beyond him. Since the return to California, the Enclave has inherited the environmental problems in California as well. Poor soil, irradiated water, mutant invasive species, all of which the Environmental Protection Agency was designed to combat and prevent. Thus, when Collis put forward his proposal, Granite accepted it, if only because he seemed to be the only one who knew what to do at the exact moment in time. In fact, a few of the officers in the room were perplexed that Collis even got his approval. Regardless, Collis set forth ready to restore the EPA to its pre-war potential. In the first place he had his sights on were the old EPA offices in Northern California. Good luck. Please send your people. If we can do stuff like this. Little Vaults of Horrors. Oh, Lord. The army demo team struck the vault once more, this time armed with more flamer fuel, and have largely cleared out the entrance hall. They're reporting the vault is in a massive state of disrepair and that the elevator is out. Curiously, the vault is further infested with giant menaces, though they weren't much of a threat to soldiers armed with flamers. They've also encountered the spore carriers, torched the mutated beasts as well as the air around them to keep the spores from getting into their filters. The team is setting up a base camp in the second floor oxygen recycling center, with the science team hoping to use the system to unleash a defoilant that should kill all plants and spores within the vault. Thankfully, aside a constant need for new filters, the troops are in good spirits given the effectiveness of fire against plants. Who knew? Fire against plants. I'm kidding. Expedition EPA. Well, that's neat. Director Collis has come forward, having gathered enough men and equipment to venture to the EPA regional offices north of Sac City. There was also the matter that on many maps the offices weren't listed. In fact, most of the references to office were listed as the zoo in NCR records and caravan maps. Since he was looking for offices and not a zoo, it was quite the surprise when he found an old pre-war map with the EPA offices crossed out and relabeled the zoo. Regardless, it was probably nothing, as he and his convoy set out for the office. Even a flyover of vertebrates depicted nothing out of the ordinary in his requisitioned. He then found out why it was called the zoo. Arriving in the offices, he passed an abandoned NCR army blockade that surrounded the site. Arriving at the parking lot, the place was a literal jungle, complete with spore plants and half-eaten remains of NCR troops and rangers that had been trapped by the carnivorous vegetation. Demo teams armed with flamethrowers were put to work clearing the site, but if this was outside the building, what the hell was inside? Collis has set up shop in the parking lot and is requesting additional reinforcements. An environment protecting itself? Interesting. And credit was given to the person who owned that. Okay, so it's just gonna keep giving me new focus and stuff. I got you. Let me check spy agency. 4th of May. Okay, shouldn't be too long. Enemy counterintelligence is really hurting though. It is what it is. Ooh, spy master. That should help a decent amount. Holy, we got 2 more positions. To say Director Collis was disturbed was an understatement. Venturing further into the EPA campus, our troops pushed into the garage, only to find a series of robots attending to what they claimed was a petting zoo. A petting zoo filled with people. Whatever programming in those robots failed to recognize that power armor troops were also humans, because when a medic was called up, they tried to put her back in the exhibit. After properly scrapping the robots, those on display were attended to, having been kept alive and docile by strange nutrient paste of pre-war origin. While it kept them alive, they were apparently hungry and attacked the medical staff, attempting to help them by trying to eat the medical staff. The very hungry humans were subdued by our power armor troops and the rest locked back up. A humanitarian crisis has been declared and the followers were called in and were just as horrified. It's a wonder these people didn't eat themselves. However, the followers have dealt with cannibals before and are going to be slowly easing these people back onto food. Collis has doubled down on his request for reinforcements. The army granted the request. Petting zoos are supposed to be fun. Yeah, that is not what I would define as fun. Not a case of green thumb. What? With the revival of the EPA, one of the more vocal debates is whether North America's latest apex predator, Deathclaw, is entitled to protection. Once a terrible threat, the deployment of heavy weaponry has reduced its natural habitat, and some scientists estimate that it could one day become extinct. We could preserve this proud animal, a testament to nature's fortitude through adversity. On the other hand, farmers complain that deathclaws make off with their Brahmin and children. Wait, are you kidding me? Shoot them all. Or the deathclaw, like the bald eagle, symbolizes America. I don't need the political power. I'd rather have the war support, seeing as it's really bad. The bombing and the combat casualties should eventually go away, but at the moment it's not great. Something weird Oregon way. During operations to pacify Oregon, our units reported back a strange area in eastern Oregon that super mutants and even the Brotherhood of Steel avoided. It was marked off on the map, and after several perimeter sweeps, we detected no enemy movements, and with bigger threats to handle, moved on. Now that we have control of the region, our forces returned to the strange lands and began asking local settlements about it. Accordingly, it was once home to the odious king and his crimson acolytes, whatever the hell that means. Though the term odious does not bode well. Pre-war records indicate that it was once the home of a future tech research facility. Given it was a division of Vault-Tec, well, I won't have to remind you nearly every vault ever. The army is preparing a small incursion into the lands and will keep you informed. Anything that ends in tech is bad news. Gets event the pale lands of the odious king. Not a case of a green thumb. One of our scientists was trying to repair the elevator when he was ambushed by a spore carrier that was sleeping in some plants nearby. His suit was breached and he suffered severe lacerations to his leg and arm before a soldier arrived and burned the spore carrier. He was rapidly evacuated to one of our medical centers, but we don't think he was infected by the spores, but we can't be sure. Security has been doubled, and the officer in charge has instructed his troops to burn areas of plant overgrowth. The other members of the science team is confident that they can get the old oxygen recycling system working to spread the defoilant. Poor man, hope he's alright. He better be alright. He's a fine man of the United States and the science team. sorry. But you know, I don't want anything bad happening to anyone if I can avoid it. Still got the FBI. We're going through 3 different things at the same time, and I find that interesting. We are literally battling it out in attempts to what's the word? Can't think of it. What was even my point? I forgot my point. Battling it out. What was I talking about a second ago? Oh yes, we're battling just to have space to put these civilian energy grids. We could reunite Canada. I mean, technically speaking, I think we could probably bring Mexico back into the fold if I really tried hard enough, but I don't know. Just don't. Just gonna let the game unpause. We're in 3 event chains at the same time, which I find interesting. Definitely my fault, don't get me wrong, but yeah, that mechanized artillery's really getting to us. Hold on. Let me go to equipment. Turn off all the boats and all the planes. The rifles are fine. They should never have a problem. Slanter equipment, definitely not. Missile launchers. I think we can pretty much delete the lines of those, to be honest, but I'm not going to. Vertibirds. Okay, we need more vertibirds, you say. I'll give you 50 factories. Have fun. Support equipment. I'm surprised. I'll be surprised if we need any more of that. I'm gonna put 100 to pretty much all 3 of these. Though, technically speaking, I feel that is probably overkill. So now we have a serious problem with circuitry. No one in the world possibly has enough. What? I don't understand. We now have a problem with circuitry. I'm going to raise that up to just before this line here so we can actually get some for portable radios. Director Cullis has been directing the new company of soldiers under his command in clearing out the rest of the service of the EPA. One of the interesting things he's discovered are Venus man-traps, strange carnivorous plants that have been discovered to be the death of more than one scavenger and plenty of NCR troopers. Thankfully, power armor and flamers are enough to remove them. That isn't to say this is still the most bizarrely horrifying place we've come across. Out beyond the offices was a park, and by park we mean it was a park that was filled with the remains of NCR rangers that our soldiers promptly torched. There's also a greenhouse, well, was a greenhouse, but that was ordered leveled via airstrike. Whatever was inside is now a crater. Cullis wanted to move into the offices, but was delayed by an infestation of mantises and rad scorpions in the ventilation shafts, who nearly ate 3 members of the EPA who walked inside to hide from the airstrike. Thinking on his feet, Director Cullis called in the Slanter, who were more than happy to hunt through the ventilation shafts and are currently enjoying a buffet of roasted rat scorpion and sauteed mantis, even if Collis was a bit weirded out by sentient raccoons. You could always count on the slanter. I'm so happy we took them. When I say take them, I meant as in, like, we absorbed them into the United States. I'm so happy we did that. More further restorations and stuff. Ooh. More people joining the United States. Awesome. Eh. What the heck is going on outside? I don't want to know. The pale lands of the Ozodius King. To say the army expedition ventured as far into the river as we got through reading the report. In fact, our officers couldn't even finish it and have a Mr. Gussie write the rest. The area is a nightmarish landscape with trees that have bark resembling human skin. The grass in the area is reported to have contorted, hollow faces. Additionally, flowers in this area seem to have petals made of teeth. I don't like where this is going, but then again it ended with tech, so I should have been prepared for this. The whole environment is straight out of a terrifying fairy tale. I'm happy that the likeliness of small children is very, very, very unlikely to be seeing this video. Oh lord. Our troops refuse to move any further, and we have a full-on mutiny on our hands, and not just the enlisted. Every officer has refused to enter the area, and when threatened with court-martial happily agreed. One enterprising, old-fashioned commander tried death threats and was only stopped by the fact that every other laser rifle was powered on in his direction. Eventually, a further bird flyover reported the Fleshland goes on for miles, but all seems to be emanating from the aforementioned future tech labs. Of course it is, and I'm gonna puke. Trash can is behind you for convenience. Gets a vent, the flesh that hates. Well, not literally. A sample of the skin, grass, and flesh trees were recovered, and it's the most bizarre thing we've come across to date. Fundamentally, everything recovered are plants just with human attributes. Yes, human. The DNA sequencing contains known human genomes, and the teeth petals are identical to the teeth you'd find on anybody. However, the cellular structure is not animal cells, rather they're plant cells. They have cell walls and contain chloroplasts found in plants, not animals. However, they're structured like red blood cells. It's as if someone took plants but used humans to make them. Even our best scientists are stumped, and yes, we called in biologists too. We've also checked records, and there's no mention of a vault with any kind of experiment of this nature, which makes sense given there is no scientific data to be gleaned from any of this, and at best is the work of some post-war madman. However, all this won't solve the problem of having a literal flesh forest in Eastern Oregon. What if it starts growing? Get me, Collis. Congratulations, Collis. Your area is going well, but we still need the environmental protection. Move you out of the way. Horses. Although there were about 8 million horses in pre-war America, they all died out due to the Great War, nuclear winter, and hungry survivors. Now the EPA wants to use genetic engineering to revive horses and other large mammals rather than engineering death claws with laser guns. Great. Now give them lasers. So we add horses, which grants supply consumption of -5 and resistance of +5% for growth. Oh, yes. Oh, and also need to get through another focus. That's awesome. We got horses. Let's go. We're gonna go down this later. Actually, we're doing it now. One of the big questions on Director Colossus' mind is if the surface was so bad, how horrifying is the interior? He got his answer when he arrived at Sub-Level Red. The entire place was laid out like a public atrium, complete with a reception, information, and a museum. They were even led around by a pre-war hologram named Hologram 40011. However, this is where the normalcy ended. 40011 showed them to a public execution chamber, an ammo depot, and since Colossus is the director of the EPA, she introduced him to the board of directors for the EPA, all of whom are a series of advanced pre-war holograms, courtesy of Big Mountain, it seems. First to be met was Hologram 10031, Director of Ground Maintenance, who, upon recognizing Colossus as a member of the government, promptly dressed Colossus down for the destruction on the surface, stating that since his Department of Ground Maintenance has operated 100% inefficiency for over 200 years, Colossus has set the EPA back several thousand years of work and effort. After recovering from the verbal assault of the hologram, Colossus introduced himself as the director of the EPA and was promptly apologized to by the hologram director. Colossus was then introduced to the other directors. These included the director of science, hologram 5 zeros, who only spoke in binary, the director of security, hologram 10001, who demanded that Colossus destroy everything in the EPA and launched into Neutrino when he was told that was never going to happen. And lastly was hologram 12001, director of operations, who Colossus got so fed up with that he fired 12001 on the spot because he couldn't get a straight answer out of him. Unfortunately, 12001 is hardwired into the facility, so in order to fire him, he tapped to be destroyed outright. Thankfully, one of our robotics corps members managed to repair hologram 0000, and the hologram has given Director Colossus full access to the facility. Who only spoke in binary is Director of Science. Okay. Director Colossus has put in a requisition for a cask of old royal whiskey to be flown out. After reading that report, the request has been granted. Good God, send him an entire case, please. Honestly, that was terrible just to read. I feel bad. How's... Well, that should be auto-completed. I guess that's just going to keep going. We're going to power on the grids. Yeah, we could send more stuff. Military vaccines, no. Extending helping hand, no. Down Mexico way, possibly. Let's see where this gets me. Ooh, Gex. The Garden of Eden Creation Kit is a device capable of radically altering the wasteland and transforming dead or radiant soil into viable land suitable for farming. When deployed, a Gex will collapse all matter within its given radius and recombine it to form a living, breathing, fertile virgin landscape and allow life to begin anew. So we use up Gex per thing. I don't understand what this, like, how this is useful. Yeah, I don't understand how that's useful at all. Hoover Dam, okay. We're gonna invest in all the things, including new citizen areas. Sure. That works, I guess. How are we supposed to demand stuff from? I think that's the 80s. I don't know who that is, actually. Say More vs. Agent Orange. The lead scientist on the Vault 22 project has informed us that she and her team have got the recycling system working and are starting to pump the defoilant through the vault. In other news, soldiers made an assault on the third floor, burning out much of the space, and spore carriers down there. The commander has noted that their filters are requiring less change, meaning our efforts at torching the place are reducing the level of spores investing in the vault. After a rest and refit, he plans on leading an assault on the fourth level of the vault, hoping by then the defoilant has done its job. Where do we find a 300-year-old defoilant? Good question. I don't know. Sub-levels orange and yellow. After everything Collis has gone through, he was dreading going further down. Arriving at sub-level Orange, these fires were seemingly justified, being that it was just offices, conference rooms, and cafeterias. Who knows what went on in those blood-curdling cafeterias, sinister conference rooms, and ominous offices. Eventually, the soldiers patrolled the area and discovered nothing was amiss. Even after 3 extensive searches, there was nothing bizarre about the place. In fact, Collis is actually hopeful that they can be renovated in short order. Further down in sub-level yellow was the power for this facility, and engineers are on their way to restore it past emergency power and get the place up and running. We could practically hear the relief in Collis' report, as the past few hours have been very fruitful and was more in line than what he was expecting. The only problems discovered were some hazardous materials found shelved in a back room, which were quickly neutralized by EPA specialists. That's good news. Hopefully it should give us the restored thing soon enough. So, all that's left are the bugs. The assault team made its way down to the level 4 common areas, immediately reporting that the defoliant did its job. Much of the plant life is dead and decaying. With what little is left, they are happily burning up. They've come across possibly a dozen spore carriers' remains, all dead by the defoliant, and have unceremoniously burned the bodies. The only real threat came from the giant mantises that populate the lower ends of the vault, hardly a problem for power-armored soldiers. The science team has moved down and set up in the old Vault Seer's office and have begun taking air sample readings to determine when it is safe to breathe in the vault. In a promising update, the injured scientist has returned to duty, thankfully not being infected or injured, and is ready to get to work. Great, seems like a worthy endeavor. I'm happy that guy's okay. He did good. He did the good things for the people.
War never changes.
No, that's gonna get me copyrighted. Oh god. I'm gonna get copyrighted for that. I don't want to get copyrighted, please. Please, I beg. Ooh, air technology stuff. Please, I beg. Please don't copyright me, YouTube. Please, I beg of you. It was unintentional, I swear it. Apparently, we did not have the Hoover Dam set for construction of a power grid. Good thing we got to that now. The assault team has reported they have entered the caves beneath the vault, but were beaten back not only to the high spore count, but the amount of spore carriers, spore plants, and giant mantises in the caves beneath. The officer has requested that the defoliant be deployed down there as well, and barrels of stuff are being prepared for the chemical cores. By the chemical cores, not for the chemical cores. The science team, meanwhile, has begun research into the vault and its food production capability. It seems the secret of the vault's expansive floor is none other than the the fungus that caused this mess. While we hoped maybe it was a side effect, this is a major setback, as we can't hand out a fungus that turns people into plant zombie hybrids on the hope they can grow more food. Yeah, no. It's not happening. I couldn't pronounce that, and I just didn't want to bother with it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. But I figured you guys probably figured that out. Nothing good lasts forever. The green level was filled with a poisonous gas, which would have incapacitated our soldiers if they weren't in power armor. A sample of it was collected and sent off for study, and special hazmat suits and air filters were given to teams to explore the level. According to Director 00000, the level was for animal and biological testing, and that one of the tests got out of hand, the test being a mutated Venus mantrap. It was here that much of the EPA's previous human staff were killed, and the level locked down as skeletons of them and pre-war animals littered the place. In his report, Collis expected such an endeavor and was why he brought demo teams armed with flamers. Sending them down, the team promptly torched the mutated Venus mantrap after discovering its location, Though 200 years of poisonous gas means the level will be off limits until the fumes can be neutralized. Ironically, the gas did perfectly preserve plant life, including several trees and a arboretum that Cullis hopes he can study to replicate across the Wasteland. Good. No more crazy, right? Yeah, no. There's still going to be a whole bunch of crazy. Hey, a new agent. Awesome. We should probably get down this. Probably civilian education as well. The Brotherhood of Steel. Sure. We'll get down through this and hopefully be able to annex the Sisters of Steel. Hopefully. That's the key word in that, I feel. Restart the movie industry. Yes. I understand what one of you dear viewers was talking about when they said restart Hollywood now. Yeah, I understand, and I realize that perhaps maybe I should have, in fact, revealed the truth 100%. Okay, these will be done in like 3 days. Sub-level blue. While waiting for green to be cleared, Collis had a chat with hologram 00000, who Collis says is wonderful to converse with since the hologram is just as frustrated with the facility as he is and actually likes the fact Collis has fired 12001 5 times now, put 10001 in his place, and fixed up 10031 so he could do his job. The hologram told Collis of a secret research project on the secret blue level and granted him access, especially since Collis is 00000's boss. Descending into the level, aside a few hazardous storage units, the level was filled with several people in suspended animation. Working quickly, EPA technicians secured the area and slowly brought these people out of hibernation, dazed and confused as they were. All of them were pre-war EPA scientists that put themselves in hibernation after the bombs fell and sub-level green was contaminated. They are very surprised that not only did the government survive, but that it has been 200 years. Despite a few trying to jostle for power, Collis told them that he was the director of the EPA and sent them off to Neutrino for medical and physiological tests. You know, I'd like to meet these people. Hello, I'm President Grant. As the vertibird carrying the pre-war EPA scientists flew over the shattered post-World War Wasteland, many were in shock. Even after 200 years, much of the land was a barren desert, and off to the north was a massive green cloud the pilots noted was a radstorm. After asking what a radstorm was, they promptly wished they didn't. As they arrived at the vertipad at the EPA offices, they were met by several power-armored soldiers standing before a brick house of a man with a winning smile. The man introduced himself as Douglas Grant, President of the United States, and personally welcomed them into the post-war world. In a small speech, he thanked them for their service and that their country needed them now more than ever. The country, well, the planet was healing, but slowly. Scientific progress has been set back centuries in many parts of the world, and that only the United States had the power to fix this broken and damaged world. Granite spoke that their pre-war knowledge and expertise was valuable more than ever, and that he was pleading with them to turn this blighted barren wasteland that he knew back into the lush green world that they once knew. Not a single one of the pre-war scientists were going to let him down. They got their work cut out for them. That's for sure. Okay, again, you guys can read this if you want, but truthfully, I don't really care for most of this, because, I mean, it doesn't really interest me. Ooh. Add technology, Vindicator EADS. Energy Air Defense System, that's interesting. I'm sorry if I'm a little silent. I'm trying to give you guys enough time between these to actually read them. But, like, genuinely, it's kind of hard to pace myself in such a way that you guys can actually read this. And I'm just not accidentally just like mass clicking. So I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to make sure you guys have enough time to read, like, that it's up long enough on the screen for it to be like, oh yeah, I can pause this for, I can pause and read this, because like I genuinely. I don't understand. What's the problem? I don't. Okay. Nellis restored. The Air Force is reporting that Nellis Air Force Base has reached operational capacity once again and is ready to receive aircraft, even the giant exploding ant problem. Seems the boomers were working on a sonic device to kill the giant ants, and after some skillful work by Sigma, the ants have been dealt with. Modified Mr. Gutsies are being sent into the tunnels they built to confirm, but are reporting nothing but dead ants. Outside this, the Air Force has accepted several of the boomers as pilots, impressed by their skills in VR and even in the cockpit of actual fighters. Several are already being considered aces by the Air Force and are ready to take to the skies to defend America. The rest are setting up garrison support for Nellis itself, making Nellis one of the more functional bases we've reopened. Give 'em hell, boomers. Wonderful. You'll notice I actually read that part. That was intentional. Whispers of Hope, awesome. We got the mobile fortifications and forward fire base. When did I get this? I don't. How did I get that? I don't remember researching it. Was it? Oh. Rapid deployment. Of course. Sub-level Indigo. From Poison and Hibernation, we've returned to the Bazaar, arriving on the level after sub-level Green has been cleared out of the poison. The team investigation found the level to be conducting experiments on humans. Oh god. By that we mean there were charts and graphs comparing male and female bodies to one another and multiple operating tables. After the level was deemed to be secure, non-power armored soldiers moved in to secure this area. That was where things went sideways. A Lieutenant Disney was accidentally pulled into an auto dock. After several minutes of trying to get the thing open to rescue him, the thing opened and we finally found out why there were so many male and female medical charts. A scan of the terminals found that this level was working with the military on gender reassignment for some covert operation that we'll never know about. We've offered Lieutenant Disney to go back through, but she's openly refusing to enter that auto dock again, and actually seems happier now. A request has been sent up to Human Resources to have her name changed to Callista Disney. What? Just what? Dev here. You think I'm making this up? This was in the Fallout 2 design document, and it said sub-level Indigo was, and I quote, top secret research into gender modification. Look up Fallout Bible number 6 if you don't believe me. I have reason to believe you, Devy boy, but I'm just a little confused. Impressed, but confused. And kinda wishing we had that nowadays, because honestly, it would make so many lives so much easier. Yeah, but well, what can you do? There were probably some incredibly unethical practices involved in that. Also, just for record, this video is going to be a little longer. I just want to get through more stuff because it just feels like we're going on forever. So these next few videos are probably going to be longer. Plus, I wanted it to be longer because, well, put bluntly, what today is. 9/11. May we never forget the thousands who lost their lives. May we never forget. America does not forget. Burned to the roots. After liberal application of defoilant, flamers, and even a few incinerators we found, the caves around the vault have been cleared. Casualties remained low, sadly, after one of the engineers was ambushed by a pack of spore carriers, though said carriers were quickly turned to ash by quick-acting troopers nearby. Air quality tests have found no trace of the spores, but demolition teams are standing by, flamers in hands, as scientists conduct more sample tests. Last thing we need is a spore carrier and power armor. Yeah, that's fair. During clearing operations, we encountered a ghoul stranded in the cave. She was on a raised area, thus she didn't inhale any of the defoilant. The ghoul, a scientist named Kelly, wasn't expecting the cavalry to save her, and is grateful for the rescue. She has offered her expertise to our science team, having been studying the vault for the former NCR Office of Science and Industry, and is thankful we aren't trying to use the Bavaria mordicana to grow crops. What's more, she thinks she can assist with a lead on one of our scientists was developing. See if the good doctor wants a job. Bring her in. Sure. Mutants, ghouls, doesn't matter. We may be at opposite ends of the American spectrum, but the Enclave and the Brotherhood are cut from the same cloth that is the American flag. While many see the Brotherhood as techno-fetishists, I can't help but find that kind of funny because, by all rights, pretty much all of the versions of them depicted are kind of like that, yeah. But I've never thought of it in the term of fetish. uh, Moving on. Well, I cannot deny that they lived up to values rooted in their origins with the United States Army. We've come a long way since the dark days of 2242, with our power rising and theirs falling, with much of the Brotherhood spread out across disparate chapters with little in common with their original goals and organization aside, name. Many in America are still bitter and resent the Brotherhood, but a growing number wish to return them to the American fold, if nothing more than to avoid wasting American lives, since they are one of the few organizations capable of imagining us in technology. I wonder, did we actually have a hand in Mariposa? I don't want to do the join or die thing if I can avoid it. I don't want to murder them straight up, but I do want them in. Also, I'm not certain. I guess some factions can actually do the Republic, like, become the Republic of Canada, which I find interesting. Oh, this looks good. We found something else. We've cleaned out most of the underground, and it seems the Brotherhood did a number on them too. Armories emptied, workshops destroyed. All in all, aside the power armor, it seems this endeavor was only worth as much as creating a massive networks of tunnels under the base. That was until we broke into the last room, which was nothing more than a fuel maintenance bay. Sifting through the wrecks, we found a long-dead Enclave soldier locked into a supply room. In their hands was the blueprints and schematics for the next generation of the Vertibird, its gunship variant. While we managed to keep a few, most went east with Autumn, leaving us with only the transport variants that were left behind. With a vertical takeoff and land dedicated to Cat's gunship, our frontline forces will be unstoppable. Finally! Vertibird gunships! Honestly, I should have restored Navarro a long time ago, to be honest. I should have done it like right after we took the NCR. You know, after we do the focuses to get rid of the negative effects. But honestly, I should have done this earlier. Because now we have VVO2 gunships. I'm so happy. I'm so freaking happy. Alright, I'm going to read this and then we're going to end off the video there. There's so many spelling mistakes. I'm considering just going in to the freaking, what's it called? To their official Discord and just asking to be like a spell checker or something, because this is killing me. With the amount of times I've stuttered trying to like say a line as it's written, but it being impronounceable, it's interesting. After the fiasco with Lieutenant Disney, the poisonous gas, and the nightmare on the surface, Cullis was a little concerned as to what was on level Violet. Director 00000 itself didn't exactly know, stating that damage to his memory banks were preventing him from accessing it. A series of robots were sent in first and reported back all clear. When the soldiers entered the sublevel, they realized it was the facility's data and memory storage, completed with a collapsed server bank for Director 00000, which is why he didn't remember what the level was about. Data analysts and engineers have been called in to help recover, restore, and back up the data, as well as deep dive into them to find anything useful, as well as reprogramming and repairing the damaged AI directors of the site. Well, they would have had Colas not run in there with a super sledge he found and smashed up all but the Director of Science, because Colas actually liked him, Director of Ground Maintenance since that one did its job, and Director of Public Relations whose presence has been a moral boost for the personnel on site. Of particular note, he has spent an inordinate amount of time destroying the Director of Operations, so much so he broke the super sledge. He broke the super sledge? Brother, calm down, Colas. Actually, with how much stress he's probably been under by that one robot, I probably understand it. With that, the entire facility has been secured, and Collis is now hoping to make it his new central office here in the next few weeks. Well earned, Director. Well earned. Okay, we're gonna... No more? No more? Okay. Thank goodness. Alright, I'll finish this then, and end the video. With the facility restored and running, Director Collis was proud to announce the rebuilding of the EPA from its new Californian offices. It is his hope that the research data recovery can be put to restoring the Wasteland, and that the research labs can be put to good use in revitalizing the Wasteland and begin restoring it to its pre-war state in the coming decades. For now, however, the EPA is to start working on cleanup of various radioactive sites, focus on engineering new types of radiation-resistant crops, and work with the newly minted Department of Agriculture, who has been seconded to the EPA by order of the President, to create better farming methods to maximize crop yield and avoid unnecessarily destroying the environment any further than it already has. However, Director Collis states that he has a team of pre-war scientists found in the EPA building that would be hard at work trying to bring plant life back to the wasteland, that it is his hope that the term wasteland will soon become nothing more than a memory in a 9-letter word. Good, I'm tired of the desert. This is going to take decades, isn't it? Oh yes, decades. The EPA can now undertake missions to help restore the wastelands. Which means... What? What? Oh no. Oh no. In the late 2050s, the elements of the Grand Canyon had its national park status revoked and uranium mining and dumping was allowed. The result is nothing short of a disaster, and Coles wants it to be his flagship project. He has had the EPA assemble a list of men and material needed for the project, some of which is a bit outside their scope, and they needed additional federal assistance to make the project a reality. So we need at least 50 of VB-01B vertibirds stored in stockpile. VB01 vertibird. I'm noticing a slight problem with that request. However, I guess that's where that technology was. I am transferring over the air defense systems to the Vindicator model because it seems interesting. I'm also noticing a lot of circuitry is needed as of recently. I'm tempted to stop this entire line, to be honest. How are howitzers looking? Where are howitzers? I'm noticing I can't find them. Probably past them. Okay, they should be fine. I think I can probably cancel one of these lines, and I'm going to do so. Awesome. Don't care about you. What else do I need to do? I need more circuitry for one, but that's not really what I'm looking for. Oh yes, I remember now what I was doing. Oh. Jet fighters. Range of 750, air defense of 15, air attack of 16. Air defense of 40, air attack of 9, so not as good as the jet fighter for air attack. Agility of 60, agility of 80, strap bombing 16, so this is... Right, this is supposed to be CAS, pretty much. 14 comparison to 40, 9 in comparison to 5, agility of 44, 88. Strap bombing of 8 in comparison to 16, air support is 0.6. Not that it really matters. Naval attack of 9 in comparison to 16. Naval targeting of 1 in comparison to 1. 26 ground attack in comparison to 48. 800 kilometer an hour. Reliability of 100. 640 an hour. 800 reliability. Cell usage of 1. Cell usage of 2. Production cost is a lot higher for the VBO2, but that's to be understandable. VBO2 transports. Jet fighters. Oh, needed for upgrades. Gotcha. Your interdiction jet strikers. I should change these out for VBO2s. I'm changing out from VBO2 transports. Wasteful, whatever. I don't really care though. Is it on the main line? It should handle itself. That is a lot of military factories though. Like, in comparison, I have 2,000 military and civilian workshops is 1,180. I could the amount that I could just transfer over to civilian workshops is probably insane. Ooh. Actually, we're not all that many power cores. Actually, we are a lot of power cores. I take it back. Huh. Interesting. Alrighty then. I think that's where we're going to end it today. I thank you all for joining me. This is an extra long video, but I just wanted to get through even more stuff. Because, well, I mean, 1, we beat the Eastern Legion. 2, we're going to be working on making sure places like these are adopted. Hold on 2 seconds. Awesome. Because we just got these guys right here. Oh yes, and I also forgot about these guys. Already taken care of. Wonderful. So we're slowly but surely integrating a lot more people. We're gonna order them to investigate this. I didn't realize it would be an auto thing. I'm gonna order more of that to be done. Screw it. We're also gonna get through more of these, and we're gonna just get this done. I'm gonna read through this. I swear. Gets event. This is not what I signed up for. Which, actually, doing that, it means that when we can click this, we can get it back up again. So, I'm gonna save the game here. You can tell there's been a lot of save games and stuff. I thank you all for joining me. This is an extra long video to cover more stuff. We beat the Eastern Legions. We annexed a decent amount of the puppets. The Houston guys down here. The I don't remember, Bay Motors, I think it was. We got Vegas, who got the king, who won election. Congrats to the king, by the way. We are working on like making it so the Sisters of Steel would integrate with us, and we're moving to peacefully integrate the small fringe countries, pretty much, that are around the border. Still a little bit of work left to do, but we're almost done. We've finally gotten our claims in Texas, so, and Oregon. Don't forget Oregon. How could we possibly forget? But thank you all for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time. Don't forget, God bless the Enclave and God bless America. Thank you all for joining me. Dragonman out.